Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam, everybody. Today is Thursday.
Okay. That means it's nothing in particular. We don't have a Thursday.
We don't have a Thursday. We tried to spin it into something. It just is Thursday.
Hasn't worked yet.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
It's coming. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. I'm excited to come down to New York City and see you.
Oh, yeah, man. It's going to be great.
And, yeah.
Rachel. Good Rachel involved.
Rachel, Jeff, the newlyweds.
Mm-hmm.
Devotional newlyweds. Mara, we got anything going on today on Zoom?
Yeah, on Patreon we have Ananda
Patreon.
Davies. Yeah, Ananda Devi is teaching asana at 10 a.m.
Oh, cool.
We have
Everybody loves her class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
we have
a warrior sage.
yeah, Warrior Sage Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
A Bhakti recovery group meeting at noon. And then tonight, 8 p.m., Sweet Baby Krishna with you, Raghu.
Oh.
That's right. Thanks for that reminder.
You're
I make
welcome.
Mara give me like 3 reminders a day.
True.
And usually it's like, oh my, and sure enough, it's like 10 minutes before I was like, no. Okay, you also got to mention our retreat to Cali, Colombia. A lot of people have responded. Cali, Colombia. Cali's a place in Colombia. Colombia is in South America for Americans who never leave America. Americans really don't leave America that much. What do you think?
Well, some of them don't. Yeah,
Some of them don't, but it's in Cali, Colombia. We're doing a retreat, and it's filled with bhakti, singing, chanting, eating great food, going to waterfalls, seeing tropical birds.
You wanted to get into shlokas, right?
I want to get into shlokas, learn shlokas,
Hymns.
chant mantras. That's Kali Colombia. You got to just email, go to raghunath.yoga. That's the website, raghunath.yoga. And then you click on the Wisdom of the Sages link or tab. And then you can read about it. And we did it a special way that everyone can go. The cost is the very cost of it.
And then
you
donation
give a
on
donation
top.
to the teacher. It's a donation-based retreat. Might be the first time people have ever done that.
No, we did it last year.
Yeah.
At least the part of it, right?
Yeah. The wisdom training we did like that last year. Also, West Coasters. I'm going to be in Bava Wellness on November 7th. That's in Tucson, Arizona. And also, I'm going to some other interesting Louisville, Kentucky. Sunday, November 15th. Yeah. And Saturday, Nashville. And
doing like a country music tour.
December 5th.
You got to get
Pittsburgh.
Banjo Mike and head out there, go to the South with him. Get the banjo and play the Grand Ole Opry. Then go out to Kentucky. A little bluegrass.
We're going to go on to the Bhagavatam because I feel like you're a little bit...
I just want
Krishna.
to mention also that tomorrow is the highly anticipated next class by Dunya for Patreon members, right?
Oh yeah,
on relationships, right? On couples.
Couples coaching.
Oh, and Lauren Baptiste is doing a workshop on Saturday morning.
Saturday for
Ayurveda going into the winter season, yeah, for Vata.
Vata. Are we the same constitution, Mara?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaustubha's got the Vata thing going.
Not us.
Although when we had Divya on, she said she thought I was Pitta. But,
Divya.
I mean, she knows what she's talking about, though.
He does, but
Okay.
maybe. Okay. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7. Text. Oh, we're going through all the avatars. That's what this is called, the scheduled incarnations with specific functions. What a title. I wonder if that's the actual title, like in Sanskrit.
I don't think they have Sanskrit titles.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
That's a good piece of trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's our verse, Prabhu?
Our verse is 8, but first we have to chant.
Rainam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devam saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudire. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, I want you to offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam end by rendering service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart will become completely eradicated in loving service to the transcendent Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs.
It becomes established as a
irrevocable
transcendental fact.
This is what happens when I try to do without reading it. Om Gyana Tamurandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. All right. We're on text 4, you said?
Text number 8. Text number 8.
8, you said?
We're hearing about all the different avatars.
All right. Let's see what other avatars. So it's interesting that God is one, yet God can manifest 4 hours. This is where we're going with this. And do some activity. We call it a Leela activity, where he shows up on a planet. He's threatened by some evil forces. The evil forces almost appear like they're winning. It's almost like how you would craft a major motion picture or something. There's, antagonists, and there's heroes, and there's villains. And it seems like the evil guy is going to win, and all of a sudden, and there's people, the innocent, crying out for help. And all of a sudden, Lord Vishnu comes and saves everybody. Why does this happen? Kaustubha gave the perfect answer yesterday. It attracts us. This is why we watch Star Wars. This is why we watch, what else do we watch?
Battlestar Galactica. I don't know.
The Hunger Games? I don't know. But this is why we watch these things. They are attracted. We want to hear forces of good win. That's why I never like shows like Unsolved Murder Mysteries, because there's no like hero's journey where the good guy actually wins in the end. But
It leaves you feeling a little...
You feel uneasy
creepy
when you go to bed.
A little uneasy,
Creeped out. So this is these pastimes of Krishna like that. They happen again and again and again, and we read about them. But Kaustubha tell then they have the opportunity to appear. Correct me if I'm wrong, on your planet that you're living in.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these happen on higher planets. We're hearing these stories, histories of the universe. But then Krishna appeared on this planet.
He did.
Right. And some of the avatar, like Ram, appeared on this planet. But it's not like they're exclusively coming to this one tiny planet. They're doing these Leelas like a road show on other planets.
That's an interesting...
Share something about that?
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up, because the first verse that we're going to read today is about Dhruva, which I think we could, I was planning, I was thinking maybe we just kind of go through these rather quickly, but there's so much to say about Dhruva, maybe we ought to talk about it, Yeah. But I thought it was interesting that here you have Brahma speaking to Narada, and Narada seems like if this conversation is taking place immediately subsequent to the previous chapter, which it seems like it is, right?
Yeah.
Narada said to Brahma, are you the supreme creator of everything? You seem to be. And then Brahma says, no, I'm not. Yada, yada, yada. It goes on. And then he starts, now he's talking about, it's actually Lord Vishnu. And then now he's going into all of Vishnu's incarnations. So it seems like it's just like one conversation going on here. But if that's the case, then now you have Brahma telling Narada about the pastime with Dhruva. In the pastime of Dhruva, Narada is instructing Dhruva to worship Vishnu, right? So it seems like it can't that it couldn't have been in the past. So either he's speaking about the future, or the conversation took place in the future, or the conversation took place at some other time in some other realm and it's not relevant to Narada at this time, right? Like, in other words, that took place in another universe or something like that.
That's interesting. Or in another, before the cataclysmic devastation, like in another millennium.
Another, Yuga cycle or something like that. So all of those are possibilities. We should look into that. We need to ask the right person.
We need
some
to
like
go to
Hari
devotee
Parsha
scientist.
or devotee Bhagavatam scholars.
Yeah.
He's looking at. Okay.
All right. So, it's an interesting point, though. It's not like we're self-centered and like, God appears on our planet. He's appearing on every planet. He's having these pastimes on all these planets. Mm-hmm. And why? Because there's living entities on those planets who need to get rescued out of Maya and attracted to spiritual life. It's nice to think of it like that. Like there's spiritual people on other planets, and there's like just materialists on other planets, and there's people who couldn't give a crap about anything on other planets, and there's evil people on other planets, and we're just bouncing around. I wonder if we take birth on other planets, or if we like Earth, we're going to stay on this planet.
No, you go up and down according to your karma.
Right? Yeah, but I wonder if you can hop to another Earth planet
in another universe. You're saying?
Yeah, just like
anything's possible.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It is possible.
Okay. All right. Text 8. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king. Even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest. And the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet. That's a pretty nice gift. You get the Dhruva planet. You've been such a good boy, which is worshipped by the great sages, both upward and downward. Kaustubha, there's always these stories, and it's almost like, if you're not familiar with it, it's almost like, really? Come on. A little boy is like going out to the woods and doing great penance. Yeah. But there's so many stories in the history of India, even contemporary India, where you have, like, who Kaustubha loves? Mara.
Am I in love with someone?
Yes, you have another person you're in love with, and it's that child astrologer. He's like 11 years old.
I haven't tuned into that guy. I haven't tuned into that guy since like March or something like that.
He's like this young.
You just are in love with the idea that I love him.
No, he's the Mara. Can you pull him up just to get the whole world to know about him?
What was it? I can't even remember his name.
Yeah, sure. But he's like this 11-year-old prodigy astrologer child from India, and he's telling the whole like fate of the universe, the fate of the world with COVID. Is really interesting, kid. But there's always historically, from present day to this kid, like you've met devotee kids that are just like Nitai Lieberman, they're just like way above and evolved and smart. And then you have like in history, then you have like Prabhupada's guru, who was like a prodigy at 4. At 4, he was like giving classes on the Bhagavad Gita. Like, who could understand what you were doing at 4? What I was doing at 4? It was like destroying my toys. That's what I was doing at age 4, destroying things, not like quoting the acharyas at age 4. Then you have, and now there's prodigies in all walks of life. There's prodigies in music, and prodigies in math, and prodigies in dance. I don't know, but spiritual prodigies has been a reoccurring theme in India forever. Shankaracharya, age 8, right? Yeah. Took sannyas at age 8. It's hard to believe that these 8-year-olds are that focused. Lord Chaitanya, child prodigy in like Sanskrit learning. I mean, at very least, if people don't even accept Lord Chaitanya, He was a historically documented child genius, mystic.
So you had no trouble with the idea that young little Dhruva went out to the forest to do yoga?
Well, if you Google a prodigy, the whole thing is weird. Like Mozart was a prodigy. The whole thing is like, it makes no material sense. How could a person be that good at such a young age? How could you write symphonies? Or it's impossible. It's coming from a previous birth. So young Dhruva, same thing, age 5.
Let's talk.
You want to tell a story?
Yeah, let's talk about what happened with Dhruva.
All right. Is Mara going to pull up that thing? Did she do that?
What's his name again?
Abhigya Anand. Yeah.
Abhigya Anand.
Yeah.
YouTube search that for fun, guys. Abhigya Anand.
Okay.
Luke Harmon's still breaking toys. All right.
So this
Dhruva.
This pastime with Dhruva, and here it's the Lord incarnates, appears to him, right? So that's why it's being mentioned here. But he was a young boy. He was a son of the king. King's name was, I don't know if I should put Mara on the hot seat.
That's a good trivia question.
Mara, should we put you on the hot seat? No, I don't. Okay, she's researching. That's not fair.
Maharaj Uttanapada.
Yeah, Uttanapad.
Uttanapad.
Yeah, there's an asana, Uttanapadasana, right?
Is there?
Yes, there is. Come on, you're a yoga teacher. You don't know that?
Uttanapadasana? I don't know that one.
Okay. It's the one where you're kind of on your back, but you have your feet raised and you have your arm raised like this. Like that. You know what I'm saying? The feet and the arms are kind of pointing upward.
When you get off your chair and demo it for me. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Okay. Uttanapadasana.
Yeah. So in any case, he was the king had 2 wives, and Dhruva was the son of the elder wife, the less favored wife.
Mm.
And he was he was going to crawl up on the lap of his father on the throne. And the more favored wife said, "Hey, you can't get on it. Only my son sits on his lap, right? If you want to sit on that throne someday." This is like really cruel. I mean, can you imagine saying this? She said, "If you ever want to you have to take birth in my womb," right? It's like, oh,
yeah, you want to sit on the throne. You die. You take birth in my womb. That's the way.
Yeah, she's like,
talk about an evil stepmother.
Cruel, at least, right? Yeah. So he was so torn up about this, right? And the thing was, his father didn't even his father should have said, "Hey, what are you talking about? This is my son." He didn't. He went along with it, right? He would later regret this, right? And so Narada was like, I'm sorry, Dhruva was all heartbroken, and it was really, he was a young warrior, so he was kind of insulted as warriors, like they don't like to be insulted.
A little bit of an ego, a little bit of a pride.
Yeah, he couldn't just let it go. He was really torn up about it. And he went to his mother, and his mother she was kind of heartbroken, and she said, "I wish I could help you, but it's a fact what she's telling you." And then Dhruva, he was determined that I want to get a kingdom even greater than my father. He's just a little boy, and how will I get my desires fulfilled? And his mother said, "Well, I think, only, Lord Vishnu, fulfills all desires, and sages go out to the forest and they find him by doing yoga out there. Maybe you should go out to the forest." So off he goes, right? And he was determined, to perform austerities, intense austerities. And then Narada appeared to him. And Narada was like, he kind of was instructing him, "Why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. You're just a boy. Just take it easy, But he just could not bear it, So he said, "I'm sorry, your words may make sense," but he gave some really great, there's so many wonderful instructions from Narada. He said to him, "You should remain satisfied under any condition in life," right? He's telling the little boy, that's the way you practice. If you remain satisfied under any condition in life, you can make tremendous progress in yoga.
Remain satisfied in any condition, like no matter what you're going through, remain satisfied.
Yeah, like in other words, okay, you got insulted by your stepmother and you got disappointed by your father.
Satisfied means like tolerant in that regard.
Yeah, tolerant. Yeah, like in other words, I can be content because I have a happiness from within, right? So if this is happening or that is happening, I can just let it go and remain content.
Sure.
And it's just key aspect of practicing yoga, right?
Yeah. It's interesting, like a 5-year-old's determination. I'm going to the forest.
Even, you see, he told him that, and he said, and he also gave him some instruction about, the next instruction he gave him was how to associate with different people. Right, that you, on 3 different levels, when you meet someone more advanced than you should be very happy about that, right?
Sure.
You should be pleased rather than envious.
Yeah, that's the negative side of meeting someone more evolved than you. You think, like, you try to find fault in their evolution. Yeah, you might be evolved like in this way, but you probably got this. You never want to let your ego seem like someone's above you, so you try to cut them down. So if you see someone more evolved than you rejoice in it. Good for you. You're an evolved person. I'm like happy for you.
Happiness. Yeah.
Happy when I see you.
Okay.
If you feel that envy coming in for a person who's got something that you don't have, a
Yeah,
red
hard time
flag
doing
should
yoga.
go up. A red flag should go up, like there's something wrong with my thinking. I got some broken thinking, broken theories, stinking thinking.
Stinking thinking.
That's what we call it.
And then when you meet someone that's is in a less fortunate position than yourself,
Right.
you don't feel good about that.
No,
It's
you want to take care of them. You want to nurture them.
Yeah.
The stinking thinking for when you meet someone less fortunate, the stinking thinking for that is you want to lord it over that person. You want to grind their face into the concrete. You want to use it. No, it's true. With every one of these, it has a converse as well.
Yeah. But I was saying you could just like feel a little good about it, but you're saying no, you want to grind their face into the concrete.
Well, this is a problem. I mean, like in the workplace or in any relationship, if there's someone who's got something more than you, if they're really of that materialistic mindset, they want to show how much more they are above you and make you feel horrible for being below them. And they flex that power whenever they can. It doesn't even have to be in high echelons. It can be just like, in the schoolyard. And so instead, if you do have some power, some authority, some influence over someone, you're kind to those people under you.
And even if you don't necessarily have that, but even like, in other words, if they're less fortunate for any reason, you should feel compassion.
Yeah, you compassion. And the third one?
The third one is the people that are kind of like on the same level.
Same level.
And that is friendship.
Sure. And
You should feel natural friendliness.
The negative effect of that one is
You feel competitive, I guess.
Yeah, competitive. You compete with them. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to, you always say this too.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear instructions from your equals, from peer.
My thoughts, and this was presented in a particular way by Narada right here. It's mentioned, this same idea is mentioned in other places. Like when we talk about relating with devotees, we say when the devotee is more advanced, right? When they're deeper into their practice of bhakti and so on, that you should not only feel good about that, but you should want to serve that person, right? And when someone is less advanced, then you should want to help that person. And I find that those two, like, they're not so hard to practice necessarily, right? Because you look good when you're like in the realm of bhakti yoga, in the society of bhakti yogis, it looks good to be to be kind of so respectful to more advanced devotee. When you do that, everybody's like, oh, look how respectful they are. Right. And then also to be, compassionate or helpful to someone else. Oh, look how kind they are to someone,
Right.
But those peer relationships, they're really not recognized. Nobody's like, oh, look just how friendly, or like, look how, to me, that peer relationship is one of the more difficult ones for people, I think.
I think the best way to play that one, Kaustubha, I treat everybody like they're more advanced than you.
Yeah, but that's not easy though either. When they're your peer, it's not easy to do that.
I know, but that you just that's the lens you put on. You're more advanced than me. Again, I have to wave the flag for the 12-step warriors we have, because it's woven into their philosophy that no one's really going to play that role of guru. They're just going to play that vulnerable, humble position. Whereas the concept of hierarchy, which I think is a real thing, hierarchy, there are people more evolved than me. That's okay. But that concept, you can start feeling like, yeah, I'm at this level now. I'm definitely more evolved than him. I joined an ashram in 1995, and he joined in 1997. I'm 1 year more spiritually evolved than them, which is nonsense. Because
it was 2 years.
Well, it was.
Yes,
thank you. I'm not bad at math. But it depends where we're coming from before you join that ashram, right? Like we must have been coming from. I could be coming from criminal activities, or in my previous life, I could have been a hardened criminal. And then big deal. I joined an ashram 3 years before Mara, and now I think I'm more evolved than her. I was a criminal in my previous life. Mara was like Mother Teresa in a previous life. And now we're coming in and we're trying to set some chronological date of our evolution. It's nonsense. What do you think about that?
Well,
so I just say everybody's more evolved than me, and I got to work and I got to concentrate on my shortcomings. That's how I work it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, but at the same time, the advice is that people on a similar level that you see as friends, there's a certain type of friendship that's important in one's life too. Right? So let's not throw that out. But in another sense, an advanced devotee seeing everyone is more advanced than them,
Or maybe I'm advanced.
Yeah, maybe. Oh.
Fell into the trap.
Okay. But actually within like the yogi culture, and particularly the Bhakti-yogi culture, there's different ways that it's like, we could say one's superior, but you could say one's seniority. Like there's an etiquette where one shows respect to the senior. And there are like 5 ways that one may calculate one's seniority.
5 ways to calculate one's seniority? I never heard this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is good trivia. I'm good for my Krishna conscious trivia book I'm working on.
Well, would you like to try to guess?
Who wants to work on that book with me? If you want to, put it up on the board. Let's gather some good trivia, and we'll make it into a little Wisdom of the Sages trivia book. We can publish this book too. Huh? Wisdom of the Sages trivia.
Are you ready? Five level. What you want? Let's hear you. Let's see if you can guess.
I don't want to. You just tell me. I'm not going to guess.
I want to make.
You just want to make me look dumb?
No, I don't think you look dumb. I think you'll probably get some of them.
Okay, what are they? 5.
Okay. Guess one. I mean, one's obvious, right? First one should be obvious. How do I know someone's senior to me?
How do you know? Oh, because they got into it before me. They're older than me.
They're older.
Oh, that's age. One. Okay, age. Initiation, maybe.
Initiation Diksha, when one was initiated. That's 2.
One is taller than me. No, I don't know. I can't. I'm hitting it.
One is a wall. One's ashrama, like in other words, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So one has also ashram. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also one's varna. One's social, like one may be very respectful to the brahmana and so on like that, right?
Yeah.
But then, most important is the depth of one's spiritual advancement.
Realization. Yeah, and that trumps, that's the trump card.
It's a trump,
because we meet people all the time. They could be younger than us. They could be either a brahmachari or married or have tons of kids or whatever it is. You meet, like, this person's just evolved. And if they're in a position where they're younger than us or like, who knows, some compromised position, like you're a swami, but there's some like householder, it sometimes hurts your ego a little, but it's good to just say, this person's evolved. This person has deep realization. This person's like, favored or, getting blessings or something. It's good just to say that because the ego never wants to give credit so much. The ego wants to keep the credit. What do you think?
Well, give me an example of someone of where that played out.
My whole experience in bhakti.
I mean,
here's the deal. I'll share you my story. Okay. I was a dented can. I came to Bhakti,
I was
dented, broken. This is the history of my life. Broken, you know, gone through, you know, material broken life. And then I got, you know, I became straight edge. I became a celibate monk at 22 with a crazy past, you know, within those teenage years. Then we started getting people into our band, started getting people into Bhakti and into straight edge. So we had kids, practically prepubescent kids, getting into straight edge and Krishna consciousness, who've literally never done anything sinful since they were, you know, ever. They were just like completely clean slates, so to speak, not to speak about previous life, but they never drank, they never smoked, they never, you know, had any like illicit connections with the opposite sex. And they were, you know, prepubescent. And then they get into Bhakti.
How old are these kids?
Huh?
How old are these kids? You keep saying prepubescent.
Well, like sometimes it's like 12, 13, stuff like that, before the mustache grows. Right. You know, girls, young girls too. I mean, Lyra Juno's on the show. She was like a little kid, although she self-claims she was doing crazy stuff. But you know, at a young age, before, even if you did crazy stuff, how many years of crazy did you do?
She was stealing cars.
Yeah, so I thought she was stealing cars. Lyra. Yeah, some of us were real crazy back then. But anyway, the idea is you get in at a young age, and then you go right from like childhood, and like what was the first your first band you listened to was like a Krishna conscious band, and it sort of puts you right on a spiritual track from a young age. And I always thought like these people, these kids that I'm getting into the music, that are getting into Bhakti, they're more advanced than me. You know, I have attachments that I still can't let go of in my mind that they're already free from. So for me, this concept wasn't so difficult.
Well, I'm asking you for an example, a Shastric example of where
Jiva was 11 when she was, I don't know if she's saying she was 11 when she started stealing cars or when she was chanting the holy name, but Jiva was 11. She just wants to make that clear. At one time, she was 11. Okay.
I'm going to try again, Raghunath.
Try, please.
A Shastric example from the sacred text of a younger person being respected by the elder people due to their spiritual advancement.
Oh, you're telling me historically when has that happened?
Yeah.
Well, Dhruva, this
is an obvious one.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad, thank you.
But
thank you for stumping me, Mara.
Prahlad was very advanced.
Or making me look bad.
Certainly, but I'm talking about an incident where a younger person was like formally.
Yeah, Vivi's saying Shaunika, but what she means to say is Sukadev. Parmananda is jumping in Sukadev. Close.
Sukadev
you got your S's mixed up, Vivi. Pretty close. By the way, if you're hearing me say different names, talking about different various people, like we're in an audience, we are an audience. We're live on Zoom every day. You too, can join Zoom. If you email Mara at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, then you can be with this whole gang. We got like 110 people today. And we all sort of know each other in a weird way. We're all sort of like strange virtual buddies. Okay. You can join that little group. Everyone who is on the Zoom group has made a commitment to chant at least one round a day. One round of the Maha Mantra every day. Now, some people, as soon as I say that, are like, not me. I was grandfathered in. You got to chant one round a day. I'm looking at you. Charlie McKinnon, Luke Carmen, Yoga Iskra. I'm looking at all of you. You too, Ellie. Don't think you're off the hook because you're Mara's sister.
5.
Huh?
Luke's doing 5 rounds a day.
There we go. They're doing it.
Okay, but let's. Time is ticking away here, Raghunath.
All right.
We've got Dhruva to talk about, but the point was, yes, Sukadeva Goswami was 16 years old. He came into an assembly of all these sages, elderly sages, learned sages. Even his own father, Vyasadeva, respected him as being, so spiritually deep that they gave him the elevated seat and asked him to speak, right? So there's evidence for that, right?
Yeah, we've got historical evidence.
Okay, so let's get back to Dhruva. He's out in the forest. Narada comes up, why are you doing this? He's like saying, I'm sorry, you may be giving me good advice of how to associate with people and to remain satisfied under any condition in life, but my mind can't embrace that instruction. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm at. So he says, okay. Well, then you should engage yourself completely in bhakti. You should go to Vrindavan, right? So here's a trivia question for you. What forest did he go to, Raghunath? Do you know?
Madhuvan.
That's right. He went to Madhuvan.
Isn't that pretty cool? Madhuvan is like one of these. He's one of the 12 forests of Braj. Vrindavan is one of the forests, and so Madhuvan is in the area of Braj. But when Krishna appeared, it was 5,000 years ago. When Dhruva was around, that was like millennia before.
Forest, yeah.
Yeah, just like, it's interesting. These holy places have been like layered upon other holy places. It's very cool.
So he went there, and then he said, and you need to control your mind through pranayama. But he didn't just say control, and he said, but the purpose of that pranayama is so that you can fix the mind on Vishnu.
See, this is where we also get lost in the yoga community. We think, well, pranayama, why? Why pranayama? Well, it's, for health reasons. Oh, it's for, swimming under freezing water. That's why I'm going to be like Wim Hof. I mean, there's so many benefits of pranayama, like there's so many benefits of asana, but the goal of them was supposed to bring you somewhere. It wasn't to...
there's a means to an end.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to break records for swimming under frozen ice. It was for bringing us to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. It's got a lot of great side benefits, yoga. It gets rid of back pain. My stress gets down. My belly fat is decreased. But there's a reason why we're doing these things. It's to bring us somewhere else. You get all the side benefits, but we can't forget the goal. We got to keep, the main thing. The main thing, Mara.
Keep the main thing.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
That's the main thing.
Well, that was the point. So he said, do pranayama, but the reason you're doing it, you're settling that mind through breath control so that you can fix the mind on Vishnu. And so then he also gave him the mantra. What was the mantra?
Mara, do you know the mantra?
No.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
That's right. He gave him Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's
the mantra. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Krishna didn't appear, so when we're it's not that mantra then, because they're doing Vasudeva as Vishnu, because Vasudeva is the name of Vishnu. We gotta ask the Sanskrit guy. But when we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, we're talking about the son of Vasudev, Krishna. Or are we saying Vasudev Vishnu? You know my question? You understand my question?
I do understand your question.
Which is the mantra?
It's referring to Krishna because, that's why the Bhagavatam starts with it. But I'm not saying that he couldn't have been meditating on Vishnu through that mantra. And actually, he's instructed to meditate on Vishnu with this mantra. It's a fact.
I got to ask my Sanskrit guy if it's the same mantra, or if it's Vasudevaya or Vasudevaya. You know what I mean?
Vasudevaya. You just have to look. You could look at the verse right now and see. Right? If it has a long A or a short A. But I don't think they changed that mantra. It's Vasudevaya.
Okay.
But the point is, was he meditating on Krishna or Vishnu?
Yeah.
Right. And but he instructed him to meditate on Vishnu. And he gave him that mantra. And he also he instructed him how to make a deity out of the earth. Right? Like how to just take like mud and so on and make a deity. So he was there doing pranayama, chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, worshiping the deity of Lord Vishnu. And he also told him, to meditate on the leelas of the different avatars.
Yeah. Good. It's a good, he's like homeschooling Dhruva. That's what you do. Here's your art class. You make a deity.
But it's just, this is how the guru instructs the disciple. He was giving him different means by which he could fix his mind. And specifically, he was giving him the means where he could fix his mind on Lord Vishnu. So again, he sent him to Vrindavan, a holy place. He instructed him to do pranayama so that he could fix the mind on Vishnu through mantra. He gave him deity worship as well. And he also gave him that smarna, that remembrance, the meditating on the leelas of the Lord. And then it was interesting. He said, worship within the heart. Worship him within your heart by reciting the mantra. Who is non-different from the mantra, right? That's the way we need to chant that mantra, right? That when we chant
that again, that was beautiful. Say that again.
He said to worship within your heart Lord Vishnu by reciting the mantra, because the mantra is not different from that Lord. Right?
This is the magic stuff, Kaustubha. This is the magic stuff. I'm just going to throw a question out there to Mara. Deity. No, that's not. No, I'm just. There's no right or wrong. I'm curious about, like, when you got into bhakti, the deity, the concept of the deity. Did you get it, or was it weird? Weird. Yeah. Kaustubha, was it weird?
I don't think it was weird for me.
You were like, I fully understand. Deity's God.
I don't fully understand anything, but it's like, oh, okay, this is what they do.
Yeah, it's sometimes beautiful. It's sometimes a very big leap over a creek to get that.
It was weird for you.
It was weird. It was weird. I tell you the story about my friend of mine who said, you got to dress the dolls. If you're into this, if you get into this, this religion or the spiritual path, they make you dress the dolls. And I was like, what? I was freaked out by it, truthfully. But I will say, 30 years in here, it is like a magic thing. The deity worship, even just seeing a deity and watching it, like, I think that deity worship has transformed my kids. My two middle kids. Yeah, they just see the deity and to work, and they like artik. They like the worship of the deity. It's like witnessing the worship of the deities. And I see the way they do their own worship, like they're into it from seeing other people worship. They've created that, and it creates an attraction to God in the form of this deity. And it's not idol worship. It's definitely not idol worship. It's something else is going on, because you're walking away from the quote idol, but you're actually attracted to Krishna in every other facet of your life. It's not like, okay, this little thing is God and nothing else is God. No, this is your access point to another realm. That's what I look at the deity as, sort of an access point out of the material realm. But then within that access point, now you have a way to vision God everywhere. It's very powerful. It's one of these bonuses you get in this tradition of Vedic culture, is this concept of deity, and the deity giving you access to a whole nother realm.
Well, it's considered one of the five, the Panchanga Bhakti, the 5 potent practices of Bhakti, right?
Sure. And it's one of those Krishna crazy things. We have Krishna magic, Krishna miracles. It's the Krishna crazy. Like, if you don't get it, you don't get it. And the whole thing seems like, this is ridiculous. Really? You guys are really going to dress up this doll? Yeah. Yeah. It's going to totally transform your mind. And once you've crossed that threshold, you totally get it. You're into it. You like lose your mind. And I say, Mary, here's a flower from Radharani's feet. And you're like, you're kidding. Thank you so much. And the rest of the world is going, what is going on here? This is ridiculous. This is insane. It's Krishna crazy. It's like you're in a whole nother realm. So, yeah.
So in any case, he gave him those instructions, and Narada very faithfully carried them out.
Mantra, deity. What was the other thing he gave him?
He was doing the pranayama to fix the mind. Meditating on the leelas.
Oh, yeah, and meditating on the leelas, which we do. That's what Sweet Baby Krishna reading in the Bhagavatam is. We're meditating on the leelas.
Absolutely. And then he said, and then when you chant that mantra, you're worshiping God in the heart, because he's not different from the mantra. And of course, he gave him those previous instructions about remaining satisfied under any condition in life, and how to associate with people on 3 different levels. And Dhruva fixed his mind on these instructions and performed them with great intensity. And the thing was, something happened, something really special happened, right? Is that he went into this practice with the idea that I want to gain a kingdom greater than my father. It's a totally materialistic idea.
Right. He just wanted matter. He wanted power. Yeah. He wanted to teach a lesson. He wanted revenge.
Yeah, revenge, yeah.
It's a trick. Narada tricked him.
So
right?
Narada said, okay, well, if that's what you want, this is the way you can get it. Because ultimately it all comes from Lord Vishnu. So start to focus your mind on Lord Vishnu. But as he began to focus his mind on Lord Vishnu, he lost the material desires that he had.
It was a trick. It was a trick.
It's a trick.
You worship Lord Vishnu for material desires, and your material desires end up going away.
Right. And so he was in deep meditation on the form of Lord Vishnu, and then it stopped. It broke. And he was kind of like, oh man, what happened? I had my mind focused on the form. And then he opened his eyes, and then actually Lord Vishnu was standing there before him. He's just a little boy,
Amazing.
right?
Just a little boy.
And then
Jamuna Jaya says, first day she was into deity worship, the first day she saw it. There's some people like that.
Yeah.
It's completely cool, completely normal. They're like mesmerized by it. So yeah. What's your point here? You approach Lord Vishnu, even with material things, and
and that can become purified.
Right.
And what's one of the things that's illustrated through this is that people come with different motives, but Dhruva himself will clarify that he says when he sees Lord Vishnu touches him on the head with a conch shell. And even though he's just a little boy, kind of like blown away by this vision, when he touches him on the head, because he couldn't really even speak, it was just so, the vision was just so tremendous, you know. He touched him on the head with a conch shell, and he felt empowered to speak, and then he goes into these prayers, Raghunath, they're so good, right? But one of the things he said, I don't think he actually said in Bhagavatam, but like in another text, he said that he offers his regrets that I approached you for a materialistic purpose. What was wrong with me? What was I thinking? Right? And he says, I was searching for broken pieces of glass when actually, you know, you were like a diamond, right? I wanted something that had no value.
I wrote a song about
when
this,
really,
you know that?
Oh,
Broken glass. Broken glass.
Get
Trading in
here.
diamonds for
that.
broken glass.
Okay,
The Ray and Purcell single.
Let's hear it.
Trading in
the lyrics.
Someone pull it up.
Does Paramananda know that?
If we throw stones, look at our own home to see what it is made of. You got to change yourself before you change the world if you want to rise above. A little truth will stop us from making.
Is that about Dhruva or is this about
Wait a second. I can't know. It's not about Dhruva. It's about you have something very valuable and you're throwing it away for. It's basically it's more about, you know, it's more about throwing away your spiritual life for something that appears better. And so you're throwing away that diamond for what appears shiny in the distance.
Okay.
Material desires, it's broken glass. And you throw away the diamond, you pick up the glass, and the glass thrashes your hands, and now you're bleeding. It's basically, I wrote it about material illusion, but that's what he's saying here too. I wanted broken glass, but I'm holding a diamond. I've got Lord Vishnu. Well,
you know, it's said that in the Bhagavad Gita, it says that people approach God for 4 different reasons.
I was about to say this. Right? I was about to say the same thing.
Okay.
Because I was about to
put me on the hot seat or something?
No. I was just about to. I'm just sharing that. I was about to say that too. The 4 types. Let's see if Mara gets those 4 types. 4 types of pious people, Mara, approach Lord Vishnu. Name those 4.
Is it those who are seeking wealth? Those
people who want money, like Dhruva,
material gain,
so wealth, artha.
Those in distress.
Those in distress. A lot of us came like, my material life. Sometimes maybe in the 12-step group, they're like, I've hit rock bottom. I need God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those who are inquisitive.
Yeah. Mara was one of those.
Inquisitive.
Right? She was sort of like, this is interesting. I'm like, I've studied many things in my life. Why not study this and add this merit badge to my sash?
And then those who are seeking knowledge or who are pious.
The Gyanis.
They're all pious, but yeah.
The Gyanis.
So then there are 4 examples for each one of those.
Raghu.
Next, Raghu.
The distress.
Look at her throw it back. That's great.
What is this, like badminton? Trivia badminton? Let's see. Those who are distressed. Who is the distressed?
Who called out in a state of
Gajendra. Gajendra the elephant.
Gajendra the elephant.
He was in great distress. He held the lotus to Lord Vishnu.
He had a crocodile on his
a crocodile on his leg.
Yeah.
The inquisitive Maharaj Pricket.
No.
Who?
I'm pretty sure that it's the 4 Kumaras, right?
Oh, maybe. I can't remember.
And I think Maharaj Pricket is the one coming seeking knowledge, I believe. I think.
Shanika Rishi? All right.
No, I think it's Marsh Brigett.
Quiz. That's part of the rules of trivia. You have to know the answers.
Okay. I'm almost sure it's Marsh Brigett.
Okay. Desiring Wealth was Dhruva.
And Desiring Wealth.
Desiring stuff, basically. Not necessarily wealth, but power. And then the Gyani was...
Marsh Brigett, I believe.
Marsh Brigett, okay.
And so I may have gotten that wrong. I hope I didn't. But so in any case, Dhruva, through the pastime of Dhruva, one of the important lessons is that one may approach God in distress, but that can become purified through the practice of bhakti, and then one can achieve. The real point of it all is not to be relieved of your distress or to gain wealth or any of these things, but it's ultimately pure love, bhakti, and that's what Dhruva got.
How was that for a boom? I got that. I segued right in. The goal is bhakti. It's one of those last minute, turn my head to the right. It's 6:01. Find the app. Find the song and playlist. Hit play. Make sure the volume's up.
The bliss of the DJ.
Oh, what a fun day today. Dhruva. Little kids worshiping God for material things, finding out that matter doesn't satisfy the heart. All the stuff that I have, all the stuff in the basement, all my toys are worthless. All I want is the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Did you ever do that? Did you ever get everything you wanted and you're like, I don't even want this? This is, yeah. And then when you appear to Lord Vishnu, appears to you, and then nothing is the same. Nothing is the same anymore. Once you get that little glance of Lord Vishnu, nothing makes any sense anymore. How many people have gone past that threshold? You get a taste of Lord Vishnu, and nothing of this world matters. It happens.
You start acting weird when that happens?
It happens. Sometimes you act weird. Sometimes you keep that weirdness inside. Like Mara, she's nuts, but it's all internalized. She's like doing a crazy dance right now, but inside. You can't see it.
I see it, actually. I can see it.
Now, interesting, if you watch the numbers on Zoom, they will go down, but they will bottom out at 60.
60.
Because 60 people are addicted to hearing the post-show talk.
We're still at 100 right now, so we've gone down about 10 or so.
Thanks, everybody. Listen, if you're on the show
99.
and you haven't gone to Apple Podcasts yet, go there, write us a review, tell us your story. We want to hear how you got here. We want to hear your crazy story, your beautiful story, your hero's journey. We heard incredible Walk on Wednesday yesterday with Krishungi of Adventure from Finland. Told us a great story. Every Wednesday we do that. We invite interesting people on to tell their story. And now we're going to do, somehow, this is the means and it's the ends. We're going to dance and sing. That is the means to Prema Bhakti. And it's you actually do it in your perfected stage. It's not like you do it and then you sit there in quiet meditation. You're always doing this.